Right, so other news at this hour. A new judge will be presiding over the Senzo Meyiwa trial. The lawyers of some of the accused have confirmed that Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng will be in the judge's seat on the 17th of July when the trial resumes in Pretoria. He has presided over some high-profile cases, including the trial of former crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli. So perhaps for more on this, we're going to be joined by Tebogo Klass from Public Interest South Africa. Tebogo, good afternoon. Thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Perhaps in view of the new dynamics unfolding at this point, we obviously saw that this trial has suffered numerous delays since its inception. I wonder what the impact of this change in judge is going to have on the case, why they need to start all over.
Look, legal experts have, I think, they've pronounced on this and they've explained exactly why it has to start all over. And I think the rationale being that you need a new judge to hear the case afresh, the evidence afresh, so they can be able to make an informed judgment based on all the information that will be in place before them in court. And to have a new judge obviously come on board, much as there might be notes available from Judge Maumela's work, it requires somebody to hear the facts or the evidence afresh and make sure that they make their own informed judgment that is both just and equitable. So it is to be expected, as I believe, that the new judge would have to have all the witnesses reappear.
Thank you for that context. I'm asking that because my follow-up question is whether the charge sheet would remain the same and also the sequence of witnesses. This must add an advantage or disadvantage, perhaps an advantage for the defense counsel, perhaps in comparing testimonies under the different judges. Help us understand these dynamics.
Yeah, look, my understanding is that it might very well be that it might work to the advantage of the defense, but not so much as we would, because if the witnesses stand by the statements that were adduced under oath, then certainly changing such statements could lead could result in legal peril for those who have made such statements and then only to change them later. So they would be warned I would imagine they would be warned by the prosecution that they must ensure that they don't contradict their earlier statements, because to the extent that those statements are now part of the court record, changing them would result or would invite charges of perjury and would make the credibility of the witness weakened. Whether this will also help, the only way I think this would help the defense is if the witnesses themselves contradict what they had said earlier. And obviously that is only time will tell.
All right, thank you for that, Tebogo. I think also going forward, we're looking at the resources used to date. Justice delayed is justice denied. So the change in judge is obviously going to prolong the process going even further. And I wonder if we're actually going to see justice at the end of the day, given the dynamics you alluded to, given the fact that resources obviously also come to the fore. I also just want to look at whether the change in judge was enough to ensure that justice will ensue. Help us understand that.
We can only tell after the case has concluded whether justice has been served or not. But suffice to say that I think the public, or certainly we have confidence in Justice Ratha Mokgoatlheng, because we believe from the cases that he's been able to handle so far, high-profile cases, including that of Richard Mdluli, he has shown himself to be a very fair but stern judicial officer, and somebody who treats both the witnesses and those appearing before him with the candor, but also with the understanding, with the kind of empathy that is required of judicial officers. But more importantly, when you talk about time, it has taken a lot of time for this case to obviously see the day of light. But it is not uncommon, especially in the South African context, where we've seen matters go unresolved for years, even decades. But we hope that with Judge Mokgoatlheng and the type of management style, he wouldn't allow the kind of nonsense that was allowed before Judge Maumela, including that which the notorious advocate therefore antics that played before court. And I'm sure that he, much as he would be fair, but he'd be staying with both the legal officers for both the defense and the prosecution as well. So we hope that there'll be some space, some speed within which this case is prosecuted or is dealt with, adjudicated in court, and finality could be reached and the families can find closure.
No, absolutely. Perhaps in conclusion, Tebogo, I want to look at the meaning of the suspension for Judge Meyiwa at large. What does this ultimately mean for him going forward?
It doesn't do well for confidence, public confidence in the judiciary, in the sense that to have a judge suspended, it means there is a preponderance, or it shows a preponderance for this particular judge not to do or to conduct himself in a manner that is expected of judicial officers. But it is not uncommon. The public often experiences delays in court, especially in the passing of judgments, and this to the detriment of the dispensing of justice. And insofar as Judge Meyiwa is concerned, we believe that it would have been unbecoming for him to continue with this matter, given the kind of accusations that are made against him that he doesn't deliver judgments on time. How could you let somebody who's accused of not delivering judgments on time to actually preside over a case that has taken so long and of high profile insofar as the public interest is concerned? So it was somehow maybe a good thing, although it was not planned, that Judge Meyiwa steps aside and allows somebody like a judge, Mokgoatlheng to come in and deal with this case afresh. And hopefully we'll see this case being dealt with speedily, as it has really taken a lot of time. And it has been costly to both the state and the individuals who have to come, some from far afield, this case again, just to come and attend court days. And now to restart the whole process is very costly to the individuals concerned and to the taxpayers as well, because this is wasted cost. In other words, all those days, weeks spent in court, it means it's just all in vain.
No, absolutely. Well, that trial obviously resumes the 17th of July. We will continue to monitor dynamics as it unfolds. Tebogo Klass, thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.